All right. Wow, folks, isn't this incredible? What an opportunity. We joined to shop at wholesale, and what an incredible opportunity this is. And I must say thank you to my wife. Do you know I still work for her? Do you know the business is still in her name? Because when I saw this opportunity, I said, La-Verne, you join up. I'm not going to join. Right? And so the business is still in her name, and she gracefully gives me a check every month. Right? Thank you so much, Rasim. Right? But she's the sweetest boss you could ever have. You know, she's absolutely amazing. Anyway, so thank you for everything you do. They say behind every successful man is an incredible lady. And thank you so much, sweetheart. All right.
Hi, everyone. You know what? I wouldn't have the business if it wasn't that Louis said, La-Verne, you are going to sign up today. And it wasn't until I heard, we were on the farm and I heard the grid go do-do-do-do-do. I said, Louis, what's that? He said, oh, somebody coming to join you up. And poor Andy and Les. Fortunately, Andy had a bit of a backbone because he came in, Louis disappeared and said, La-Verne, you're going to sign. And he took out a kit out of his car and I watched him and he walks in and he says, well, where should we do this? I said, do what? He said, well, I've come to do a kit opening and to join you up. I said, oh. I said, well, there's a table, you can put the stuff there. And I gave him such a cold shoulder, but you know what? God knew we needed this business, and it's just been incredible. And I just want to say thank you right off from the start as well. We thanked the company earlier, but to Charlie and Alta in the Eagle team, you know, God says to be a servant of all. And no one, we've seen many servants even in our team, but when we got going, Charlie would take us by the hand, and yes, sometimes he had to kick us, and sometimes if Louis was holding a Coke in his hand, he would take the Coke out and toss it and said, you don't drink poison anymore. But when he heard that Louis was so bad, he met us along the road once with a juicer and a big bag of carrots, and he said, Louis, now you've got no excuse. Go get better. And that was the start of seeing what others can do for you and how, you know, Marco mentioned the caring. Well, it is just unbelievable. I went into the Farmerama, into a big store to go and get some products for the farm. And Andy, our upline, gives me this big box and says, I saw Louis, he looks like death warmed up. Please make sure he takes this. And so we have just so much thanks for Charlie and Alta and Andy for sharing the opportunity with us. And you know, something Charlie and Alta have always done is go the extra mile. And you know, people say, we go the extra mile, but you know what? You do what you're taught. And Charlie and Alta, you have led the way, and we thank you so much for that. When we went to Mauritius for our very first time, and we went without a single cent in our pocket, and Andy said, Louis and La-Verne, we're taking you on a fishing trip, and he paid for the trip out to sea in this big beautiful boat, and Louis caught some marlin, and it's just been, and then for holidays, he would come with us to Cobb Inn, and we'd say, oh, Charlie, we don't have a proper bed. He says, no problem, just give me a tent and a place to go to the toilet, and I'm good. But you know, all the time, we just saw servanthood, and I just want to say such a huge thank you for that. And then, just recently, this last week, we got a call from our beautiful new Sapphires in South Africa. And her husband was put in hospital with COVID on the oxygen. And she said, she phoned us and she said, my husband's in a bad way. I quickly texted Charlie and I said, Charlie, party needs prayer. I've just got this text and I just forwarded the text onto him. You know, he didn't miss a beat. Immediately, he sent through to them some extra medication that he had on hand. He gave them advice. He gave them whatever they needed. 3 days later, Party was out of hospital, and he's doing good. But I'm just showing the kind of people, when Marco said this company cares, they go over and above. And the people that we've come around and our team go over and above. You know, when Louis was sick not so long ago, Yvette called and said, I need to see you, Louis. And he just pulled Louis to the side. She pulled us to the side, and we chatted. And she said, you know, I looked at your symptoms, and why don't you try this and this and this? It changed Louis. He went, wow, it's so simple. But all the time, we've got our down lines, our cross lines, caring. And it's just the most amazing thing. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. What an incredible lady. And the most amazing thing or saddest thing is the day Party got sick to land up in hospital, his daughter died on the same day of something else. But yet Charlie stood up and is helping towards the funeral and everything like that back home. And anyway, so the chat today is about communications, and I've got a lot less time than I was told. But anyway, that's great. We'll have some fun. I'll go through it as fast as possible. So the first thing about this communication across here is I want to tell you a story. Here I am. This man arrives at a meeting, and I forgot to bring a parcel along for him. And I knew it was my office at home, and the meeting was just up the road from my house. And so I said, come with me to the house after. Now, those days, no cell phones, anything like that. So I arrive at the house, and we had an office down the one side, but it had burglar bars. We lived in Africa, no ways to get out the windows, no exit out there. And we arrived there, and I walked in, and I said, wow, the lights are on. Good gracious, we normally put the lights on off at that. So I get in there, and my office is beautifully tidy. My wife, my beautiful bride, had spent the evening tidying up the office. So guess what happens? I can't find the thing I'm looking for. His parcel was on the desk. So then I hear the cupboard creak. So I'll go closer to the cupboard, and there's somebody in the cupboard, right? And it's my wife, half naked, right? You know, she's...
I was clothed. I had my pajamas on.
Yes, half naked. So anyway, so I get there, and so she's holding the bag just slightly out enough for me to get it. So I start putting my hand in to get the bag, and she sees Clifford behind me, and she bangs the door closed on my hand like this. So anyway, so communication is a very important part, right, of team building.
I'm still trying to teach him.
He's still trying to teach me that, right? But, hey, I'm married to her. Do you know what that means? If I know it, she should know it. Isn't that right? Come on, men. Come on. All right. Anyway, so the next thing over here is your actions speak so loud as a leader, your people can't hear what you're saying. You have to learn the way, go the way, show the way, and equip people that they can succeed in that way. Very, very important. I want to read something over here. Life is about balance. Be kind, but don't let people abuse you. Trust, but don't be deceived. Be content, but never stop improving yourself. And I want you to read that across there because, you know, in this business, there's a fine line between trying to get somebody to do what they need to do for their own success. You see, you as a leader, you've been the way, you know how to do it, you know if they don't do that, they can't succeed, and they're battling out there. I'll give you an idea. A gentleman back in South Africa, his name is Dick Venables, and he phones me one day. Now, he's broke, he's got no money, he's battling, his business not growing, he can't sponsor anybody, and he's so frustrated, and he's about to quit. And he phones me one day, and he says, Louis, I can't get to the function. I said, Dick, listen to me. Bring your kit back to my house. My wife will give you the check because I don't want people in my business who's going to holler up and do nothing. You know too many of my friends. You're going to tell them the business doesn't work. The business does work, but you don't know what the heck to do. So just bring the kit back. Woo! Was he offended? But you see, I can't understand how somebody can need to succeed but won't learn how to do it. Just wake up, man. You want to pull their arm off and hit them with the wet end. So now, guess what happens? He didn't bring the kit back. He got a bit offended with me. He came to the function and went sapphire. Well, but you see, you can't do what you don't know. And this is the problem. You beg people. You say, I'll pay for your room, I'll pay for your accommodation, I'll do whatever it takes. And they don't come. And then they say, well, I don't know. Everybody I talk, nobody's into it. But you haven't learned how to do it. You have to learn how to do something to be able to do it. These people who holler off and do nothing and complain about network marketing, there'll be another statistic out there. Well, I need to get to page 1. So there. No wonder I went there. Anyway, so, okay. So I want to just run through some slides to show you how to build some relationships. This is about building relationships across here, and I don't know where to point for the slides. Why is it not? Oh, there you are. Okay. I'm not going to go back. Anyway, so there you are. Thank you so much. Well, it's gone again. Oh, there you are. Okay, so that is one of our events at Hume. One of the things at an event is to build relationships. You want to sit together. You want to be a team together. You want to have some fun together. You want to motivate together. You want to take pictures. You want to put it on Facebook and all that kind of stuff. And build friendships. That was some of our group from the UK and from the USA at a Hume event. This is what we're going to have in the USA one day. I'm trying to show you. This is an event with about 13,000 people. 13, that was just Charlie's team, just the Eagle team. 13,000 people. And I can see that. I can see that happening in the USA. And I can see just a single group in here one day is going to have an organization. And I hope it's yours because it's also going to be mine. So we'll have to run 2 of those back to back. Anyway, so... all right. Then we've got, that's our group there in the UK. They're on their way to go and do a workshop across there. And so exciting to see how many of our UK people this year in the top performers and getting awards and all that kind of stuff. And there they're wearing their team uniform across there. There I'm in Oxford, in Yarra, I'm in Folkestone. And there we are in Cyprus. So why did I go and do this? I want to explain to you why I did this. Because the UK went through a real hard time a few years ago. They went through a massive hard time. The company moved their head office. And all of a sudden, there was no support in the country. They moved their head office in Europe. And so all of a sudden, UK had no support. And they were really floundering. And there was a bit of a change in the marketing plan, all that kind of stuff. And so what you do in a situation like that, you get off your rusty dusty and you go and get them some momentum, you get them some new people, you go and support them, you equip them no matter what the cost. So I went to quite a few countries to go and support them across there and stabilize their business. And one of those countries I went to was Cyprus, and I spent a week in Cyprus. And guess what? We turned the whole thing around. The next thing over here is, all right, here's a little meeting down in the LA office, and there's a meeting up at the Brassfield Estate. We had some people there we helped. I think that's one of the help bring in from the UK. And there we took a bunch of people to a vacation down in Mexico. And there we were in Naples, and all the ladies who went out for dinner that evening booked a restaurant down on the harbor. One of the most, I asked around, what's the most beautiful restaurant in Naples for steak on the water? And hey, did you folks enjoy that? We had an incredible time. We went in there, had an amazing time. On the right-hand side, we took a group to those who had just finished eating lunch. You can see our bellies there. We had just pigged out at a restaurant on the beach in Hawaii. Okay, there we on a cruise, pigging out. We had a great time there on that little yacht across there. I'm trying to get through this thing. There, an event in Florida, some of the Floridians across here. What we do, we go and we basically take over the restaurant for meals, and we have a great time together in the meal breaks across there. There's a time in Africa where we had an awesome time. Took a whole bunch of people to South Africa. That picture in the top right-hand side is taken right in front of our home back on the beach in Africa. Then you can see across there. Let's see if we get some sound. Thank you. While that's playing, because of time, I'm just going to keep going. We fundraised. We took in clothes for all these children, one of the most poorest parts of South Africa. We took in clothes for them. They came and saying thank yous for us. I'm going to move on to the next one. I can't hear it. A little bit louder. Thank you. So that's on our deck in a home back in Africa. So anyway, so they were there saying, thank you so much. We gave them money towards their school. We gave them money to put water tanks and that kind of stuff up. And they came in and they sang for us and they did a bit of local fun across there. Then we have got, there we are. If you can see, there's a whole bunch of crocodiles and hippos in the lake there in front of them. We went up a cruise on this a lake there in Africa, and we had a great time together. And there we are, we're swimming up on the Mozambican border. We got up real early one morning. We did the whole of South Africa basically in a few days. We were there about 4 weeks, and so we had to go and swim. We were only in that town for one day. On the right hand side, that is when my daughter got married. There we rode her through those bulrushes, came out there. Oh, she's actually in that picture. Is that her? Yeah, she's in that picture. Anyway, so there we are on a safari. We had a great time. I want to tell you about team. Everybody's different. We got a gentleman by the name of Doug. Just don't ever try and beat him in a race. Yeah, we're having a kayak race in this thing, water tubing race, whatever they call these things. And he's next to me, and they're counting 1, 2, and guess what? As it gets to 3, he pulls my boat back like crazy and goes forward.
I just want to say something on that. You know, when you're in close proximity with your team, they see you and they learn you and they know you. And Doug was so perceptive. He knew that Louis just does everything to win. And he's going to do it no matter what. And Doug just quietly sat next to him, held onto our boat, and as it took off, he pushed back. And it was so fun. Louis was floored for the first time.
Yeah, no, I was really blown away for a few seconds there. I had to get to what happened there. You know, I'm going backwards, not forwards. All right. So yeah, we had the USA and UK team across there in Africa, and that's in Kruger National Park, one of the biggest national parks in the world. And there we are. We're having a great time across there, and there we're going on the evening game drive. And there Charlie took us out to a restaurant. Amazing that he was in town for the day up when we in KwaZulu-Natal in Durban. There's us in Hawaii. I must just get through this real quick across here. Then we took a whole bunch of leaders from South Africa and the UK to a big leadership program in Las Vegas, and then lunch in Mexico, amazing dinner in Mexico. Took a bunch of people down there. And now just stop for a second. How do I stop it? Can you make it loud, please? Oh, what happened? Take it back. Thank you. Yeah, this is a bit of fun. Can you press play, or do I have to do it? All right, a little bit of humor across there in London. Went for a conference in London. We've got our team together from about 4 different countries in Europe. We had a great little event there, and Charlie brought the Eagle Team band in. We had just a wonderful time, and so I always make a bit of Mickey out of the leaders. Okay, so let's go quickly. A few things for communication. I know my time is up. Must I stop? Okay, go. All right. There's a few things for communication over here. So you really need to have integrity. Very important. The minute you are dishonest with the organization, if you make a gray area, they don't follow you, they don't trust you, there needs to be 100% integrity. The next thing over here, you have to build with relationships across there. Oh, gracious, where am I right there? Self-sacrifice. Very, very important. Self-sacrifice. You have to go out your way to prove your worth to your organization. I'll give you a quick example over here. I was asked to go and do a meeting in Durban. This man phoned after about 20 times. I was so broke I couldn't pay attention. Has anybody ever been there? There was nothing. I'm telling you, we were so broke. There was no money. I took children's food money, and I eventually put gas in my car, and I drove the 14 hours to go and do the meeting. No money for hotels, nothing, just took sandwiches there, sandwiches back, get to the venue. The person who had been phoning me over and over, he didn't arrive, nobody arrived. I paid for the venue and went home. Halfway home, guess what happened? I came over this mountain at about 2 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the morning. A lot of mist. And somebody had put boulders across the road, and I wrote off my only car I had. And I sat there, I tell you what, tears running down my eyes, and I said, oh my gracious, why? And I didn't realize that God was just making a man out of me. Stop being a wimp. Stop being pathetic. You know? Become a man. Stop making excuses. Too many of us are wimps, man. There's many males, but few men. And it's a struggle that makes you. It's conquering that struggle that makes you. And number 5 was the next point was communication across here. And in my close here, I want to run through a few things in the close. I'm not going to spend more time on communication and relationship building. But in my close here, I want you to understand that I am fired up about the future. I have never in my life been as fired up about the future. We are going to build a business like you just can't imagine. We got the best products. We got an incredible marketing plan. We got the most amazing company. We got amazing leaders coming through in this organization over here. We can lift our head up. We can pull our shoulders back. We can put a smile on our dial and say there is nothing like NeoLife out there. And these companies are building businesses on absolute garbage. They're building businesses on absolute trash. And you look at it and say, how do you create that size business with absolute garbage? I'm telling you, the future is so exciting. We need shades. This is your year. Take ownership and let's build a massive, massive business together.